Today, I'm attempting my first marathon, 26.2 miles with no training.
So much pain. My brain wants me to quit.
I have never attempted an event so long before. You're probably wondering why. Let me take you back to where it all started. Ever since the Navy, I've realized that mental health and physical fitness are closely related. Every physical challenge I take on, I feel fulfilled mentally. I've used training and fitness to help myself and to help others, constantly taking on new challenges because it improves my mental health. I've attempted a lot of challenges, but one thing I've never done that I've always wanted to do is run a marathon. But before running the marathon, I have to get my most important piece of running gear, my shoes.
Just came in the mail. These are the Brooks Glycerin StealthFit 21s. I had 20s last year. I did a whole lot of running in them, but then I dropped them in the ocean on a YouTube shoot. Let's try them on. All right, let's take them for a run. Breaking in your shoe is a crucial part before you go to a race. One thing about running is it's not swimming, so you always have air around you. You can always breathe. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. I'm very nervous. I feel good. These are super lightweight. I feel like I'm just defying gravity. Every single step, I feel like I'm floating.
The Catalina Marathon is a 26.2-mile course located on Catalina Island, right off the coast of Southern California. It is a rugged 4,300 feet of total elevation gain and is named one of the toughest marathons in the United States because of its steep ascents, rocky trails, and varied terrains.
Yeah, Catalina Marathon, it looks tough.
Way too many hills.
Even driving it's tiring, to be honest.
Mile 1, did not expect this elevation. Just came from all the way down there. It's only the first mile, my calves are already starting to cramp. I have some hydration stuff to combat that. Feet feeling good, calves not so good. Go to mile 2.
The second thing that has helped my mental health is creating videos. Uploading videos and inspiring you guys has had such a positive effect on me for the last 6 years. With every upload, I have the chance to inspire millions of people, and that's a good feeling to have. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, I'm running a marathon.
That sounds a little crazy. You know my background, West Point, triathlete, on the All-Army Triathlon team. I haven't run a marathon myself. Running a marathon that's a big ask, especially of a guy as strong and as big as you. I would not recommend this. I'm just gonna say that. If you said 3 months from now, even then, I'd be like, I think we can come up with a plan for your heart. I don't know if I can recommend this, so that's a real risk. It's a real risk, and I want to make sure you understand that.
The sudden death of a 37.
New York City died from heat stroke. Died after crossing the finish line.
Marathons can pose significant risks. The body loses electrolytes, which can cause electrolyte imbalance if not fueled properly. This can disrupt nerve and muscle function, which leads to cramping, weakness, hyponatremia, dehydration, overexertion, stress on the nervous system, and even death.
All right, strategy, just finish. I'm not aiming for a certain pace, not aiming for a certain fastness, just wanna keep going. Nutrition, hydration, shooting for about 25, 30 ounces of water an hour, and then about 200 calories. Tell you guys what, this video gets 150,000 likes. I'll sign up for a triathlon, an Ironman. But first, I have to survive this. Let's see how it goes. We got a little bit of an incline right here. Across a little bridge.
2 years ago, I tore my hamstring pretty badly. It took me 9 months to recover.
Take a second and stretch it.
One of my fears during this marathon was that I would re-injure it. So when I felt a pinch in my hamstring, I immediately stopped to assess it. Lucky for me, it was only a cramp.
Finishing mile 3. Done with mile 6, coming up to mile 7. Just crossed mile 7, feeling good. A little bit of pain in my right hip, but feeling a blister come up on my heel. We're good, rocking and rolling. Mile 8, mile 9, feeling good, just finished. Look at this climb. Might be the steepest one yet. Still feeling good, body's feeling good, feet feeling good. A little pain in my right hip. consuming about 200 calories through gels and little power cakes an hour, trying to get about 20, 30 ounces of water an hour. Time to sweat.
So I debated on telling you this, but I'm gonna run a marathon.
You're screwed.
It's also this weekend.
You're double screwed.
This is Hunter McIntyre. He is the fastest man in fitness, and I'm honored to call him a good friend. If there's anyone that should be giving me advice about this, it's him.
The marathon's an interesting thing. It's like what everybody aspires to do, and you're going straight from no training, no experience into the hardest race possible. So where's it gonna be?
Catalina.
Dude, you're fucked. I think there's just a couple things that if I teach you, you have a much better chance.
What are those?
First of all, the most important thing is gonna be shoes. What's on your feet is what's gonna get you to the finish line fastest.
What's number 2?
You gotta learn how to tie them. Almost even more important than the shoes is gonna be the fuel. Water doesn't cut it. You're gonna have to have the right things in the water so you don't start cramping. And then snacks are important. Just simple snacks inside of the system just gives you these little spikes of energy that are gonna matter. And then last is going to be pacing. You know, you don't wanna be the 1 mile hero. Look good for the first mile and then die for the next 25. Well, even though I strongly advise against you doing this, you stand a chance.
Almost to mile 11. Got the pain in my right hip. I'm running the downhills, walking the uphills. Feet feel great. Almost at the halfway, almost at 13. Done. Mile 11, complete. Mile 12, done. A little pain in my hip. Mile 13. That's an important milestone. I'm actually using this marathon as like a therapy session. I don't know if I told you guys, but Sarah and I, we broke up. You guys remember Sarah on the channel? We broke up last year.
Sarah was a big part of my life for the last 5 years. She was by my side when I was in the Navy, and she saw me transition out into full-time YouTube. Last year, my relationship with her came to an end in March, pretty much abruptly. I'd never experienced a mental hurdle like that before in my entire life. I had frequent panic attacks and constant anxiety every single day until I went to sleep. As this big, tough, 6'4", masculine man, it's hard for me to admit this, but after all the struggles and self-development I've gone through the last year, it's made me such a better person and stronger mentally.
You know what? I can't let these thoughts get in my head. Mile 13, furthest I've ever ran in my entire life, like ever. Playing cool, you guys know I'm a positive guy, but I'm gonna be honest for a second. Feels like there's a knife in my hip. A little bit of cramping in my quads. Just like Hunter said, if I can make it to mile 20, I'm good. The ride on these shoes feels really good. I'm a heavy guy. The sole of these Brooks shoes feels incredible. The ride is really good.
I've done several 6 to 8 mile runs, and when you run, you have to make sure you have great gear. I'm running the Brooks Glycerin StealthFit 21s. They're nitrogen infused and feel super lightweight on my feet. My favorite part is the cushioning. Brooks DNA Loft technology provides a great cushion for my runs, and the weightless feel allows me to stay light on my feet. If you're a runner, you have to experience these shoes. Click the link in the description, check them out. The Brooks Glycerin StealthFit 21s.
So around that 20-mile mark is gonna be that wall. And if you can get through that wall, around that wall, over that wall, whatever you have to do to get through that point, your likelihood of finishing is so much exponentially greater. But that's where everybody hits the wall and cannot get around it.
Glycogen is your body's source of energy. The wall occurs when the body's glycogen stores become critically low. At that point, your body is looking for sources of fuel and can start to break down your muscles, which is not good and leaves you feeling like you cannot continue.
Just finished up mile 17. We're at 17.7, dealing with a pretty gnarly cramp in both quads. At each rest station, I'll take a few more minutes and drink some more water. Feet felt great. Hip, definitely some pain in the hip. It's like been a climb. Mile 10 through 17, just a climb. I did not account for this elevation. Each step is like a pain through my hip. Coming up to mile 20. 20 is my mental, what I'm attaching myself to mentally. So when I pass that, I think I can get some momentum. I saw 3 people get picked up earlier. Promised that was not gonna be me. Am I on the correct path? I don't even know. Severe pain. No ibuprofen. All right, coming up mile 20.
As mile 20 approached and passed, I was feeling like every step was a battle against the temptation to quit, but I kept pushing through. knowing that each step brought me closer to my goal. As I press on towards the finish line, I'm even more determined to finish.
Woo! Mile 20. Just passed it. I was just getting emotional thinking about how much of a wreck my life felt the last year. And me not being a marathon runner, like not a runner by any means. Now doing the Catalina Marathon. If you're not subscribed already, I'm coming for you. Bunch of haters out there if you're not subscribing. Bunch of freeloaders. Mile 22. Everything's telling me to quit. My legs, my hip especially, feels like I'm being banged with a sledgehammer. My mind is telling me to quit. My body's telling me to quit. I'm not gonna quit, I'm so close. Just past mile 22. Man, these hills just do not stop. I didn't account for this elevation. Quads are actually okay. Hip is hurting a lot. Now it's time to just turn my brain off. So close. So much pain in my hip. So many emotions going through my head. Happiness, nervousness, last year anxiety. Y'all just remember, if you're feeling happiness, sadness, anxiety, it just means that you're human. It just means you're alive. It doesn't need to dictate your will to live.
Austen from Chula Vista.
In times like this, the only way to survive is to shift your mind. And all I started to think about was how grateful I am for my life. To feel pain and anxiety and happiness and sadness and excitement just means that you are alive. These are normal things we experience and should never dictate your will to keep pushing forward. I'm grateful for my friends, my family, my morning walks with the dogs, my community, my experiences, also my shoes on my feet. I'm thankful for those too. Thanks, Brooks Running, for being a part of my journey of my first marathon and supporting my goals with great gear.